You're listening to episode 157 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Robyn Openshaw, aka the Green Smoothie Girl. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hant, and welcome to Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we help you create an awesome life and lifestyle. From nutrition to fitness, mindfulness to peak performance, and relationships to money mindset, we bring you on an amazing journey to help you unleash your human potential. So let's learn a little bit about our guest today, even though Robyn has been on before. Robyn Openshaw is the author of 15 books, including bestsellers, The Green Smoothies Diet, and 12 Steps to Whole Foods. The latest book, the USA Today and Amazon #1 bestseller, Vibe, Unlock the Energetic Frequencies of Limitless Health, Love, and Success, was released by Simon & Schuster in October of 2017. She's a former psychotherapist, university professor, and lectured in over 450 cities in the 6 years after launching her popular site, greensmoothiegirl.com, in 2007. She's a single mom to 4 children who are now flying the coop. She skis and plays tennis competitively in Utah and believes that everything is possible if you leverage the highest frequencies in the universe. So here she is, Robyn Openshaw. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lifestyle Locker Radio. We have a return guest. I'm super pumped because I actually love her so much because she's very, well, besides she's really intelligent, she's like a really giving person, and she's really helped me out outside of the podcast with choosing things like mattresses and other things. And I love her because she is really out to help the world, help people, and support people that are in the wellness industry as well. So Robyn, I want to thank you so much for being here. We've got some really cool stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back. Thanks for having me, Josh. I hope the next thing that I do for you is give you a place to stay when you come to Park City to ski.
That is true. That's going to be fun. So we're going to dive into something today that's been all over the world. People have been talking about this word fasting and all sorts of different stuff, but a lot of people don't even necessarily know what it is. I mean, people think just like, all right, I'm just, I leave my food and water at home and I'm just going to starve myself for however long that may be. And I know you personally have done longer fasts, maybe even just water fasts. I'm not even sure. I want you to talk about that a little bit. But you have a really cool product, which, for those that are going to see the video, it's right here. Hold on, right in front of the camera. It's called the Flash Fast, which we're going to actually talk about because I'm going to be diving into this pre-ultramarathon so I can regenerate, heal, get some good rest time for my body. So we'll get into that in a second. So Robyn, talk to us about fasting for the group here or for our audience, because I know there's so many different types of fasting. If you throw it in Google, there's like millions of results.
Yeah, everybody's talking about fasting, and I think that it's sort of in vogue right now because it's like the good thing that happened from the bad thing. I'm not a big fan of the high-fat diet. I think our body needs fat. I don't think that we're served by eating more fat than the liver can process. And I see people doing the currently popular fat diet and eating way too much fat. And I think that carbohydrates are useful and carbohydrates are helpful, and they're the foods that contain all the fiber that sweeps our 30-foot long GI tract. But let me just say that what I'm here to talk about isn't going without any food for 7 days or 14 days or whatever. I mean, I have kind of thought about like writing a book about my adventures doing water fasting. Water fasting, it's not fun. Nothing about it is fun. Is it spiritual? Is it transcendent? Sometimes it's just like insane hunger, right? But I have done some serious adventures with fasting, and nothing is more regenerative. Nothing is more anti-aging. I mean, I'm actually 86.
See, I thought you looked great for 86.
Yeah, I look really good for 86 now. I'm in my 50s, but I'm a competitive athlete, and I believe that the science that's coming out, not about water fasting, because I don't think most people do it. I think most people are intrigued by it. They think they're fasting when they do this intermittent fasting, which is the thing that has become popular based on the ketogenic diet. And I think ketosis is great if you do it by fasting. I don't think people eating super high amounts of fat are why some people are winning when they go keto. I think the reason why is that they skip a meal. They skip a meal every day, and we call that intermittent fasting, which is a great step. However, there are volumes of research studies coming out and being published by, Johns Hopkins and USC and other institutions telling us the health benefits that we can get from what I call modified fasting, which is eating less, much, much less. You're not going to get the benefits of fasting by cutting 500 or 800 calories out of your diet. But these clinical studies are proving that you can get all the health benefits of fasting, which I'm happy to talk about, what has been proven, because it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like reversing neurodegenerative disease, reversing diabetes. But you can actually get those health benefits without actually going hungry.
That's pretty cool. So like, let's go into the benefits first, because people think, not eating is, and I apologize, they're actually cutting my lawn right outside my my window here, of course, perfect timing. But the benefits of fasting can be vast. And I know my father has been a fan of fasting for, since I'm a kid that I remember, he takes days off of eating, which is crazy. And he's like the guy that's completely fine with it. He doesn't eat on Mondays. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it's Monday, I'm fasting. We'll just drink, a gallon of water or whatever it is. But what are the benefits? He must have known something or read something 40 years ago that said fasting is good. So what are they?
Yeah, it's not new, but all the books on fasting until the last few years have been about completely going without food. And the longer you do it, basically, the more your body goes into this state of autophagy. Autophagy is a word that most people don't have in their vocabulary. And we could talk about ketosis, which a lot of people, because of this diet that's been really very popular the last couple of years, know that they want to put themselves into fat burning mode, where their body is burning ketones for fuel. People are starting to know about ketosis, but I want to talk about autophagy. And that's sort of the high level health benefit that we get. And a Japanese researcher in 2015 won the Nobel Prize for Medicine discovering autophagy. So that's how new it is.
Oh, wow.
That
Okay.
we're even talking about it. And what autophagy means is self-eating. And so what happens in the process of fasting, and like I said, I think the most exciting thing I've discovered as a researcher in health and wellness in this century is modified fasting, because it makes it accessible for people to actually get these benefits. And I say that in this century, we're 19 years in, right? I really mean that. I really think this is the most exciting thing I've discovered, even though that's my full-time job, to study health and wellness.
Yeah.
In this century, I've written 16 books, and I am telling you, I literally think this is the most disease preventative, disease reversing, most exciting thing I've discovered. In the last century, the most exciting thing I discovered was the green smoothie. And I put up this website, Green Smoothie Girl, and it went super viral. But I actually discovered that in the last century. So autophagy is self-eating. And so what happens when you go without food, or when you take your diet way down to eating just some small mini meals within a certain window and a certain kinds of food, right? It has to be plant-based, has to be within a certain macronutrient ratio, really should be high in micronutrients too. Okay, so you're not just gonna, eat a bite of a donut throughout the day and keep your calories below there. That's not gonna work. What actually happens is you free up about 65% of the body's energy, and your body is pretty much constantly maxed. It's generally maxed because, like I said, it takes 65% of your energy just to metabolize your food and make it into fuel. But when you don't eat, or when you eat very little and within a certain window, your body goes into that autophagic mode where it tears down broken parts, it tears down old parts. And one of the researchers who's really just coming out with volumes of work these days out of USC is Dr. Walter Longo. And he uses the metaphor of a wood-burning train. And you're on the train, and the train is trying to get to the station, but it's going to run out of fuel. It's going to run out of the logs that you put in the wood-burning stove before you get to the station. Okay, so think of this like your body.
Yeah.
Before you get to the station, you're going to run out of fuel. So what do on the train? You tear out some of the wood chairs in the train, and you throw them in the fire. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's fine. When you get to the station, what are you going to do? You're going to have to rebuild those chairs that you tore out to stoke the fire with to get to the station. So your body is similar. When it isn't given fuel, it goes after aberrant cells and clusters of cells. And so all of us are creating cancerous growth at any given time. The people who have cancer, or what people think of as having cancer, are the people who have a detectable mass, where that mass has come to your attention because it's compromising an organ function or it's making you very ill. But we all actually have cancer, and it's when your immune system gets weaker and weaker and the cancer's growth gets big enough that it becomes detectable and actually makes you ill in some ways, so that you go and you get some diagnostics done. But we all have cancer. Well, guess what happens in autophagy? When we fast, our body shifts its energy. It creates a huge number of stem cells, which we all know stem cells for anti-aging. We suppress those tumor genes, and the body goes into autophagy and it goes after cancerous growth. It goes after mold and fungus and colonies of virus and colonies of bacterial cells, things that we all have underlying infections. You know, that whole theory, and I know you know this, Josh,
Yeah.
but that whole old theory of we get sick because we got a germ and a germ got inside of us is a very old, very false theory.
Yeah, we're more bugs than human.
Right. Right. We all have the bugs at any given time. I mean, we all have candida.
Yeah.
We all have strep. We all have a staph infection. But and it's possible that those things that we think of as bad bugs are actually have a positive function in our body. The problem is when they get out of control. And so in autophagy, when I don't have to spend 65% of my energy metabolizing food, my body metabolizes bad guys. It strips stuff down. And then when we get to the station at the end of our 3-day modified fast, which is what I've just in the last 3 weeks, I've gotten 2,000 people on this modified fast that you held up. When you get to the end of the 3 days, you want to spend an equal amount of time making sure that you're eating a very nutritious diet, like, 95% plus plant-based, all whole foods. You don't want to fast for 3 days and then drink a bottle of wine at night. There's
Really?
lots of people who do that. Lots of
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
Yeah, and I'm not here to be judgy. I'm just saying that is not what you want to do, because the refeeding stage after the autophagy stage of stripping it down or self-eating is super important, because that's when we're at the station. We got to rebuild the broken parts. And so some of the things that autophagy can accomplish, autophagy and massive stem cell production and all these tumor suppressing cells that are produced when the body can, it's not maxed anymore. And so what does it do? It's like, okay, it's time to rest, rebuild, repair. Let's go after these bad guys. And so fasting is, simply put, the best preventative anyone can do. And that's why your dad did that.
Yeah.
He's really smart.
Yeah. That's cool. So like, this is almost a longevity secret that has now been released. This guy was able to create a word and figure out, and I love the analogy, of ripping apart the chairs in a train and then having to rebuild. So we're breaking down dead or bad or mean cells, if you will, and we're replacing them with better, healthier, smarter, functioning cells, so we can live longer and healthier. I mean, that's really the long and the short.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these clinics who are injecting people with stem cells or spinning their stem cells and banking them. And now the law just said all American stem cell clinics have to destroy all their stem cells. And there's all these people who are spending tens of thousands of dollars. All they have to do is fast.
That's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. And I think this is also important because in my training for my ultramarathon that's coming up, I want to say intentionally, maybe it's intentional, but my diet, my food has changed a lot. I don't want to say I'm a keto person. I'm more like a paleo / keto / just, I like to eat a lot of food, but I tend to eat pretty good food most of the time. I don't not eat starches, but I started decreasing because of how I actually perform. I started to decrease the quantities of like flesh.
Yeah.
Which before, steak or chicken or fish or lamb or whatever it was, no problem. And now that I'm pushing my body to harder limits where it's required to burn better, cleaner, more efficient, like the train you're talking about, I've had to really increase my veggies, and I've really decreased all of the meat products, if you will. And I feel like 1,000 times, I've never ever in my life thought I'd say I'd be mostly like a vegetarian. Even though I'm not a vegetarian, I'm still going to eat meat. But it's really weird. And I don't know if that's, maybe I'm doing some of this stuff because my body's on high burn mode, and it's just becoming more efficient by having better, cleaner sources of food.
Yeah, I mean, we have a 35-foot long GI tract, and
Yeah.
so we're not a cat. I think that my cat has been popping in and out of the,
Yeah.
but we're not a cat where the gut goes from the mouth to the anus almost in a straight line, and so it's appropriate for them to eat a lot of animal, right? They're
Uh-huh.
carnivores. We may be omnivores. There are people who argue that we really shouldn't eat meat, but I don't take a stand on whether people can eat meat. I've
Yeah.
eaten almost entirely plant-based for 25 years, and it's Yoshinori Osumi is the Japanese scientist who discovered autophagy and won a Nobel Prize for it. That was only 4 years ago. But Dr. Walter Longo is doing a lot of the clinical studies that are coming out on modified fasting. And he's now honing in on very specific disease states. And I know that this fall, right about the time that you and I are recording this, he's coming out with remarkable results from his cancer trial. And I've only heard this secondhand, so watch and wait and see what he comes out with. But he's saying do a modified fast before you do chemo, because the cancerous growth becomes far more vulnerable to chemo, and the healthy cells put up a shield. I had already read that theory. He had that theory based on, animal studies and some early evidence he saw, but then he went and did the clinical trial, and apparently he's coming out with it. So that 3-day modified fast you have in your hand, he apparently feels you need 4 days before chemo. But there are published trials showing that for diabetics, type 1 and type 2 diabetes reversing from the modified fast, yes. And I'm talking about beta cells regenerating and insulin sensitivity increasing, and people getting off medications on both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Now, you did not just hear me say, do a fast and you will be cured of diabetes.
Yeah.
With diabetes, you absolutely want to work with your doctor, because there are certain, especially I think that water fasting is actually contraindicated for diabetics if they're on medication. Certain medications can be lethal if you don't eat food. So just with that caveat, know that I think that modified fasting not only is proving to be incredibly beneficial to reversing type 1 and type 2 diabetes and regenerating beta cells and making people more insulin sensitive, but modified fasting makes it accessible, whereas water fasting is actually pretty dangerous for diabetics. Modified fasting is dramatically bringing down total cholesterol in people who have high cholesterol. It's bringing down blood pressure. It's bringing down and stabilizing blood sugar in a matter of 3 days. Yes, 3 to 5 days of doing a modified fast, but the benefits are long-term. Some of the clinical trials have shown that people 6 months and 12 months later still retain the gains of doing a modified fast periodically.
That's so if I'm going to be doing my modified fast, I'm going to be doing this in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks from now, before my event. When's like the next best time? Is there a system to doing this? Because I know you're saying the benefits are long term, but if they're that good, why would you not want to have some kind of regularity? So you're like, okay, I'm going to do it X amount of times a year.
Yeah, so people who are interested in weight loss, a lot of them are signing up to do the flash fast once a month, because our average weight loss, and you're not going to want the weight loss.
No.
You're trying to keep the weight on, I'm sure, but there are people who are doing 2 flash fasts in a row, because you do get into deeper states of autophagy and ketosis if you do longer than 3 days. But what we're finding is people do 3 days. There's one other modified fast out there, and it's actually Walter Longo who developed it. And I don't love it because it costs over 3 times what our flash fast does. It's not organic. It's 5 days, and I've only met one person that I've told about 20 people now. I've only met one person who actually finished the 5 days. And there's just weird stuff in it. Like you have to drink like orange flavored glycerin drink. And I can't get them to tell me, why am I drinking glycerin? Like I literally studiously avoid dental products that have glycerin in them. I don't know why I would drink it. But anyway, so Valter Longo's research has demonstrated that it's entirely plant-based. So you're going to be a vegan for 3 days when you do the flash fast, because you want to give your body as little work to do as possible so that it can really shift into these other modes. And so you're eating 5 mini meals a day, and doing it before your race is a fantastic idea. And you told me your dates, and I highly approve of the dates you chose. I wouldn't do it the 3 days right before. I would do it 3 days where you still have 3 days to do the refeeding. I think you're going to feel like $1 million.
Awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. So because we were talking about the diabetics and people that will maybe even have cancer. Is this something that they're, weight loss monthly or even 2 times in a row? If someone has a condition, so to say, is it better to do them like a couple times a month? I mean, I'm just thinking, because I have a lot of patients that I see that come in for a lot of different things. We got to work with their nervous system, but we can only teach them so much. I know they need to take other action steps as far as eating and movement and so on and so forth, which we do our best to point them. But I think this is it's very powerful, and it's easy. It's 3 days.
Yeah, you can put your patients on it. I mean, we just launched the Flash Fast. We've been working on it for a year after I studied what it takes to actually achieve all the benefits of modified fasting, and then how do you put it in a package, make it affordable, make it organic, make it entirely plant-based. So definitely put your patients on it, and you can give them an assignment. If they have weight to lose, one thing that autophagy does is it goes after belly fat. Okay, belly fat is where you trap toxicity, and so you're able to lose weight faster when you're detoxifying, which is one of the things that's going on when you do a modified fast. Is there's increased output, and there are quite a few pieces of evidence showing that you're eliminating heavy metals at a rapid rate, and other plastics and other chemical compounds that get trapped in our tissues and our organs. So for people who need the weight loss, they can absolutely do it twice a month. But just have them try it once, because they're going to try it, and they're going to, the first 100 people we put on the Flash Fast, we did a little mini clinical trial. We put 100 people on it. And the average weight loss in 3 days was, you're not going to believe me, but it's true, was 4 pounds. That was the average.
Okay, that's very cool. I mean, it's great. I mean, if someone's looking to lose weight, that's 3 days.
In 3 days. And so you can project out, there's the possibility that the average person, if they did it once a month, could lose up to 48 pounds in a year, doing the same thing that they were doing month in and month out, but just maybe the first 3 days of every month they do it, or the first Monday through Wednesday. I like to do it Monday through Wednesday, right? Because I got the social life on the weekend, and Monday through Wednesday I'm just at home working. It's easy to do. But what I should mention is that a couple of things. Not only was there an average weight loss of 4 pounds, and people were saying, I can see it. I can see the difference in my belly fat. But also the average hunger level, we had them rate their highest hunger level from 1 to 10, and the highest hunger level was 3.4 on average. So you don't actually have to be super hungry.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, are people like clawing at like their desks at work? Like, I need food. Because that's why I've heard people fasting. Like, I'm the meanest person in the world when I fast.
It's the worst. I have done 4 water fasts of 7 to 12 days in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 times. And I can't do it at home because I have no self-discipline, and my fridge is right there, and my car is right there, and there's a restaurant right there. And I just don't. I would get to a period of hunger and I wouldn't make it, and I would just go eat. So I literally flew to an ashram in Texas that's in the middle of nowhere. And so I've literally fasted with monks and nuns. It's a Hindu ashram, and I recommend it to no one. It's horrible. But I do it because, I mean, it's almost like sensory deprivation. It's like 1 star would be praising it. And it's just very, I mean, it's very Hindu, right? Like the things of the body, or you're sort of denying the things of the body. So I understand what they're doing there, and I have no big criticism of it, but I think it would be nice if they had an infrared sauna there. It would be nice if they medically supervised somebody. That's why I don't want to send anybody there. Is that people if you haven't fasted and had no food for 12 days before, you don't just want to get on a plane and drive 2.5 hours out into nowhere, Texas to do this. But I have done that, and I don't recommend it to everyone. Like, some people will really fall far. I do things like this periodically. I have a super clean lifestyle and I have a super clean diet, and I'm, get a lot of exercise 6 days a week, and so I'm strong. But I wouldn't send people with significant health issues to do that.
Yeah.
It does have to be, you want it to be plant-based. One of our flash fasts has some bone broth in it and is entirely plant-based except that, and the other one is 100% vegan. I do the 100% vegan one myself. And, there's just an unlimited number of amazing processes that are going on in your body to be able to reverse the beginnings of many disease. You're going to drink plenty of water, and you're going to flush that liver out. Okay, you're going to get the bile flowing, and you're going to get thousands of ducts in your gallbladder and kidneys and liver flushing out, because the body is able to free up some time and energy and focus on that. And people are reporting feeling like $1 million after. So we recommend that people, there's no contraindication to doing it twice a week or even a week. Then we have people who've already become completely obsessed with it, even though we only launched this, less than 4 weeks ago. And we have people who've done it every single week since then. And these tend to be the people who aren't feeling well, or the people who are overweight. And so you could do it every Monday through Wednesday. There is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, you're eating healthy food.
Yeah. And longest living people in the world forever have been people who go periods of time with very little food. And that's just foreign to us as Americans, because there's food everywhere. There's easy food, there's processed food, there's inexpensive food everywhere. But that's never happened in the history of mankind before. And it looks like there are some links to the constant eating, and of course the type of eating, and never taking a break from eating. There may be a significant link there between the meteoric rise in a lot of diseases.
Yeah. Have you seen with the people that have been going through the flash fast, like, have you done a happiness survey?
A happiness survey.
I mean, think about it. These people, their lives are changing.
Yeah.
I say that jokingly and seriously, because, when I see patients change, I mean, their whole mental state changes. And I know you're dealing with chemistry when they're fasting, right? They're changing their chemistry inside. So how could they not become happier, if they're burning crap out of their body?
We get everything because we just launched a private group. And so we have 2 health coaches in there, and then you can watch along as people do their day one. Some of them will post on day 1, day 2, day 3.
Oh, very cool.
They'll say, okay, I just finished day 1. I thought this would be harder than it is. Or they'll say day 2 and I got a headache. And it's like, well, remember we told you to go off of coffee 3 days before. You know why? Because we don't want to be blamed for going off of coffee. You don't want something that is dehydrating. And so as we're trying to get some detoxification done during those 3 days, we say, hey, no coffee. And there are people who are just like, don't take my coffee away. And so they'll get in, or whatever their reaction is. But so many stories are pouring in, even though, we've only had 2,000 people even get a flash fast so far. We haven't, none of our colleagues have told anybody about it. We just told our own followers about it, and 2,000 people got one. But we have just testimonials flooding in of people who say, I feel like $1 million. My brain fog has lifted. I feel lighter on my feet. My belly has gone down. 100% of our flash fasters, those first 100 flash fasters, 100% of them told us they feel inflammation disappearing or is just gone.
Yeah, so
people with joint pain. We have a lady who wrote a testimonial, and you can just, if you get a flash fast, you'll be in there. You'll see this lady. Her name is Dolores. And she said, I have been in mind-blowing pain for 15 years. And she said 15 hours into this program, my pain disappeared and hasn't come back.
Wow, changing your eating is going to change things, you think? How cool is that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what this is all about. I mean, lives are changing. And I think that's why we do what we do. Right? Not because we want a testimonial, but because we have people have such an innate wisdom in their body that given the right tools, what's possible. I don't even think we truly really know how much better we can get.
It's so heartwarming to me to see how miraculous and smart the body is. Like 15 hours in, you know, and she said she woke up during the night and she normally just has just pain just shooting through her. And this is, I mean, this is all in the flash pass page. I don't know this lady, you know, that she says, I always have nerve pain just shooting through me. And I woke up in the night, I thought I was dreaming it because I didn't have any pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up a couple hours later and I was like, I still don't have any pain. And she thought, if I'm dreaming, please don't wake me up. And then she got up the next day and she just wrote us and she was just tearful. And then the next day she said, still have no pain. And she finished after 3 days and she said, can't wait to do this again. I still have no pain. And so what's so amazing to me, and you're exactly right, this is why we do what we do, it's why we work so hard, is because if we can get someone to make this change, I mean, a modified fast 3 days a month, how hard is that? I think it's doable for just about everyone. And you see someone who has not had a pain-free day in 15 years say, I've just had 3 days, three days in a row like that. Now she has the link in her mind between inflammation and what she was eating. Now she has the clear connection between, if I let my body have a rest from whatever I was eating, give it a rest. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And it goes right to work repairing. In fact, since we were talking about nerve pain, guess what? Regenerating myelin sheath is one of the things that's coming out of these clinical trials. Nothing in Western medicine can help people with Parkinson's, MS, dementias, Alzheimer's. There are so many people suffering with multiple sclerosis. It's another epidemic. Fasting allows the body to rebuild myelin sheath. Nobody's ever accomplished that before.
That's the wrapping of the nerves, people. That's like, this is important. I mean, this is like mind-blowing stuff. And, you know, maybe 1 decade, 2-3 decades ago, they said when the nervous system was injured, game over. But those are scientists that didn't believe that there's an innate wisdom in the body. I don't think that the body actually can heal itself. I think that people like these researchers are going, the body's powerful. What are we going to see when we take away the bad and reintroduce good?
Yeah,
What's
it's
possible?
So and I've known about the health benefits of fasting for a long time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten on a plane and flown to Dallas from Utah and gone and sat in an ashram and not eaten anything for a week or 2 weeks. But I'm done doing that because, you know, I have to. Another reason I have to be in Texas, besides the fact that I live, there is no food and you can't get an Uber there, so I really have no access to food. That's why I went. But I also really shouldn't be around other people. I'm moody. There's a lot of adrenaline that happened a couple times where I just had all this adrenaline and I felt angry a lot, which I don't in my life. Most days I never feel anger, right? I'm a psychotherapist by background. I know how to manage my anger. I know how to get myself out of it in a matter of seconds, and I'm high self-awareness. But I would like just have this, like, you know, they call it hangry, but I honestly think when you're fasting, you actually have this. I went home and studied it because I was like, why was I so mad when I was there? It wasn't even mad at. You know, I was trying to work on my computer, but here's the thing. I was having to, when I did my 1 to 2 week water fast, I was having to take time off work. With the flash fast, I have not only worked every single day that I've done the flash fast, I've done it 6 times now in the last couple months.
Okay.
We were testing it. I also twice went and played a competitive tennis match, once on day 2 and once on day 3, and had all the energy in the world. And I played well, and it was awesome. And it was in the hot sun here in Utah. We're in the desert, and it was like, you know, 90 plus degrees while fasting. So that's another thing that's just a revelation to me, is anybody can do this. This is not hard.
Yeah. And it's funny, you talk about being like hangry. You know, there's certain Jewish holidays where we fast, and I go to hang out with my family in Brooklyn, and not everybody fasts, but there's a handful. And it's a bunch of miserable people looking at their clock, waiting for the clock to strike whatever, like 7 p.m. or whatever is when the sun goes down to eat again. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine watching you guys do this for, you know, this is 25 hours. Imagine doing it for 27, like being around these people. But yeah, this is so cool. Flash.
Your religious tradition at least trained you in fasting. Fasting isn't super, super like foreign to you, and your father did it.
Yeah.
I grew up LDS, or most people call them Mormon. And so I was practicing Mormon for many, many years. And so for decades of my life, I would fast for 24 hours every first Sunday.
Okay.
Three of us. I'm one of 8 children, which that goes with that, doesn't it? Three of us would have major blood sugar issues, and sometimes we couldn't get to the 24-hour
Oh,
mark.
wow. Okay.
Controlling blood sugar is another thing that regular modified fasting does for you, according to the research.
Which I think is so cool. I'm actually really like, I want to do it today. It's like start today, but I want to save it for before my race. Um, but I'm excited. So, as a recommendation for me, this is more, me asking you a question for me now. So I finished my race. I finished my 24 hours of running and eating. Like, I think we're calculating, I'll probably burn close to 25,000 or 20. I know you're not a calorie person, but just a number, right? 25 or 26,000 calories that day. And I will probably eat 10 or 15. I don't think I can eat as much as I can burn at that pace. So I'm going to do all of this, and most of it's going to be pretty clean food. There will probably be some things that are at the race tents, which I'll probably just crave for whatever reason, right? And I'm not going to like shame myself.
No.
But post event, when do you think it's a smart time, like for all the endurance athletes out there, when would be a good time to reintroduce it again?
I would say you can do it any time after the period of time that you need to recover. So if you feel 100% again 2 days after a race, then anytime starting then would be
Okay.
great. And I think I kind of haven't answered your question, like what do I recommend based on the research of how often to do the flash fast. If weight loss is a priority, you can do it monthly, and you can get set up for monthly auto ship for 2 a month if you want, and then you get free shipping. And you get anybody who's on Subscribe and Save, and they're getting auto shipped it, whether it's quarterly or monthly, they save $30 on each flash fast. So instead of being $70, it's $40 for people who are on at least at this time that you and I are talking.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the price will go up. We haven't decided yet. But anyway, so it's $40 for all the food you need for 3 days. So it's really inexpensive. It's organic. All the products are certified organic. All the single serves of all your little mini meals that you make. But for you, since you're healthy and you're young, if you're just looking for disease prevention, then do 3 days quarterly.
Okay. That's great. I mean, I think it's just getting to a habit. I think like anything else in life that's good for you, if you don't build the habit, it's just going to disappear,
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind. And I don't want people that are going to be getting involved in this that are, we'll say relatively healthy, that are active, have active lifestyles. This is not for you. This is actually going to be something that's going to be like a turbo booster for your body to clean out and go harder, go stronger, go faster, whatever it may be. So I think the habit is important. And wow, it's pretty cool. I'm getting super excited now. I'm just looking at the box in front of me. Anything else? I mean, we've kind of gone all over, but in a pretty awesome direction. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I'm just really excited about it. I'm very excited to bring to the world a way to get the health benefits of fasting without going hungry. Oh, and speaking of that, with your first flash fast, you get this book. It's my little book. It's like a Reader's Digest of all the science on modified fasting. And it's called How to Get the Health Benefits of Fasting Without Going Hungry. So you don't have to read this to do the flash fast, but if you do read it, it's only 70 pages. Oh, yep, you got one too, don't you?
Totally.
If you do read it, it will help you understand the why of doing this, and it will really commit you to the process. Because we don't want you to just do this as a one-time thing. We actually keep building up toxicity, and we keep going out there and doing things that aren't perfect, like you're going to do in the race tent.
Yeah, of course.
They got a donut and orange juice, and you're hungry.
Yeah.
So like it's the best disease preventative I know, and I'm excited to help educate people that. And you can do it yourself. You don't need the flash fast. You can do preferably it has to be plant-based. Keep it under 800 calories. So heavy emphasis on plant foods, like, our little single serves are superfoods with the cleanest, highest protein plant foods. So think greens, vegetables, fruits, nuts and seeds, legumes, whole grains. You don't have to have whole grains with gluten. There's plenty that don't have any. And so you keep it under 800 calories, and you want to keep your protein a little bit higher than you normally would with a plant-based diet. In your fats can be moderate. In the flash fast is some sprouted organic flax seed you're going to add to your little shakes. and that'll get you really good essential fatty acids, and it helps keep you satiated as well. So you're going to be having a bar a day. You're going to have 4 little shakes a day, which you can add your sprouted flaxseed to, and you can do this. That's what I want to say. You can do this.
I think the flash fast is it's simple. I mean, it's pretty cool. It comes in a little box, and it just looks like it's ready to, like, that's it. I don't need to think. I think it's easier than trying to go and shop for 800 things, to be honest with you. So Robyn, this is awesome. And everybody, if you have not, like, the last interview we did, we spoke about her book Vibe, which is an awesome book. If you haven't read it yet, please, please, please. I know we touched a little bit probably about some of the things inside, but these are all high vibrational foods that are in the flash fast. So the book is awesome. I highly recommend it. I think I read it, maybe even, I'm not sure if I read it before it was even out, but it was awesome. And I mean, you said 16 books?
16 books, yes.
All right. Start with Vibe and then work your way backwards. That's the newest one, because you're going to get to learn and learn so much about yourself. And she's a wealth of knowledge, like I said in the beginning. So Robyn, I want to thank you so much. Our audience loves you, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me back, Josh.
Hey everyone, I hope you did enjoy that episode with Robyn Openshaw, the Green Smoothie Girl. And this time we talked about the Flash Fast. I have to let you know that you should definitely go back and listen to some previous episodes of my Race to 100, which was my training and post ultramarathon, which are only a few episodes behind this one. And what you can do, you can hear my experience, right, from doing the Flash Fast. It was awesome. It was a great experience. I'm so grateful that I did it before this ultramarathon. So I did it. My race was on a Saturday. I did it on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before. And I can tell you, this is my first ultramarathon that I have done that I was not sore at all in my legs, right? 52.4 miles later, and it's still very, very comfortable. And I definitely think that the Flash Fast played a huge role in releasing some of that energy, releasing some of the garbage in my system, and giving me that fresh tank of fuel in my life and my health so I can just go and crush this ultramarathon. So you better believe that I'll be doing this again. So find out more details. If you scroll down in the show notes, there will be a link so you can go ahead and get yours and all the other details about the show, how to connect with Robyn. So make sure you go ahead and get that Flash Fast and let us know how you do, all right? So wherever and whenever you're listening to this, have a great day, evening, or night. All right, y'all. Peace out.